Welcome to Instagist TV. In today's video, we're breaking down the thrilling match between Atlanta and Real Madrid, where the Spanish Giants came out on top with a 3-2 victory. It was an action-packed game with stunning goals, dramatic moments, and incredible skill from both teams. Stay tuned as we dive into the key highlights, top performances, and everything you need to know about this exciting clash. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more match highlights and football action. Real Madrid secured a huge win against Atlanta in the Champions League, with goals from Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., and Jude Bellingham ensuring 3 points. The result sees Los Blancos climb to 18th in the league table after a slow start to the competition. The away side started the match brilliantly, with Brahim Diaz and Mbappe in particular looking really up for it. Madrid's positive start saw them take the lead on the 10-minute mark when Mbappe received the ball on the edge of the box and, with a perfect touch, breezed past Martin Darun and slotted an excellent finish into the bottom left corner, which the Atlanta goalkeeper had no chance of stopping. Despite Madrid taking the early lead, it seemed the goal benefited Atlanta as it was them who took control of the game afterwards. Ademola Lookman was causing big problems down the left wing, with his energy and skill piling the pressure on Aurelien Tchouameni and Lucas Vazquez, who were struggling to deal with him. The Spanish Giants were dealt a huge blow after 35 minutes when Mbappe went down untouched and was forced off due to an injury, with Rodrigo taking his place up front. Just minutes after the substitution, Madrid went close to making it 2-0 when Bellingham put a great lofted ball across the box to Antonio Rudiger, who failed to head it home. In the last attack of the half, Sead Kolasinac was brought down by Tchouameni in the box and a penalty was awarded to the home side, which Charles de Ketelaere calmly put into the top corner to equalize right on halftime. Atlanta came out strong in the second half, but were sucker-punched by 2 quick goals from Vinicius and Bellingham. The Italian side were unlucky for the second goal, but the third goal from Bellingham was difficult to avoid after a sensational ball over the top from Vinicius played him through. A powerful, low-driven shot from Lookman beat Thibaut Courtois at his near post just 6 minutes after Madrid put themselves 2 goals ahead to bring life back into the game for the home side. Despite pressure from the Italian side toward the end of the game, Los Blancos managed to see the game out to secure themselves a vital 3 points. Meanwhile, we would be talking about 5 players who could join Real Madrid in January. Long-term injuries to David Alaba, Eder Militao, twice, and Dani Carvajal have shown Los Blancos just how vulnerable their backline really is. This season, Real Madrid have had to promote players from their Castilla reserve side to plug the gaps left by the sidelined senior players. One of the La Liga champions' main goals for the 2025 transfer windows will be to bolster their defensive options. A left back, a center back, and a right back are targeted by the club. Despite this, Real Madrid have been adamant that they will not make any signings in the unpredictable January window, which has made compiling this list difficult. Still, there are some players Los Blancos could realistically bring in the winter. Miguel Gutierrez, Girona. Let's start at left back, where Real Madrid find themselves in a tricky position. Despite Ferland Mendy and, more recently, Fran Garcia doing adequate jobs in that position, the club have been determined to sign an upgrade for that position. Alphonso Davies is the top target, but the latest reports coming out of Germany suggest that he is, surprisingly, close to extending his Bayern Munich contract, potentially ruining a transfer that has been in the works for the best part of a year. Therefore, alternatives have to be considered, and one of the most popular options would be Girona left back Miguel Gutierrez. A former Los Blancos prospect, the club have an €8 million buyback clause, which makes this deal almost a no-brainer. Due to the price involved, Gutierrez could realistically be a January reinforcement, though it is unclear whether his clause is active in January. Jonathan Tah, Bayer Leverkusen. Finding a potential center-back reinforcement for the club was tricky because Real Madrid are intent on bringing in several free agents next year. One of them is Jonathan Tah, the national team partner of Blancos star Antonio Rudiger. Out of contract at Bayer Leverkusen, Tah is free to negotiate with interested clubs in January, and Real Madrid view him as a priority option for the center of defense. The problem is that Barcelona do too, and their El Clasico rivals may have already beaten Real to the punch. Sporting director Deco has held a very positive meeting with the player and his agent Pini Zahavi in which massive progress regarding a potential deal was made. However, the pre-contract can't officially be signed until the January window opens, still enabling a potential hijack. If Real Madrid agreed to pay a bit more, they could even bring him in January, although it is understood that Bayer Leverkusen would, as things stand, rather lose him for nothing in the summer than for a fee already in the winter. Jeremy Frimpong, Bayer Leverkusen. Staying with the German champions for now, another player on Real Madrid's radar is Jeremy Frimpong. The Dutchman is a name under consideration for the right-back position as an alternative to Trent Alexander-Arnold and Diogo Dalot, who will both be going nowhere in the winter. Frimpong is known to be keen on moving in 2025 and has a €40 million release clause, though it is doubtful that it will be active in January. There are also concerns over the wingback's defensive capabilities in a back four. Still, Frimpong could be a viable January target if certain pieces fall into place. Pedro Porro, Tottenham. Another right-back who could potentially be tempted into a winter move is Pedro Porro. The Tottenham fullback has been on Real's radar for some time and previously admitted that he is honored to be linked with the club. With Spurs in the midst of a mixed season, the Spaniard may be willing to jump ship. Still, it seems a long shot, especially since he would surely not come cheap. Nevertheless, Porro is a more realistic January target than the aforementioned Alexander-Arnold and Dalot. Juanlu Sanchez, Sevilla. The most realistic January reinforcement for Los Blancos could be a man much closer to home. Sevilla right-back Juanlu is said to have emerged on the club's radar despite his comparatively limited minutes so far this term. The 21-year-old was a regular at right-back for the Andalusians last season, but he has been much more of a utility man in 2024-25, filling in all over the pitch, primarily in midfield. In a way, he is reminiscent of Real Madrid star Federico Valverde, who has played at right-back and in central midfield. Having another player like the Uruguayan with a lot of potential upside surely can't hurt. The Olympic gold medalist's contract expires in 2026, and he is thought to have a release clause worth just €20 million, which makes him a very attractive commodity. Thanks for watching the match highlights between Atlanta and Real Madrid. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so we can feed you with more football highlights.